Mannerism seems to have taken a strong hold on the Flemish and Dutch schools of painting. Here is an anonymous work, at least the artist has never been identified, an imaginative and entirely unrealistic representation of John's revelation on Patmos, from which comes the Book of the Revelation. It's been dated by Friedlander to about 1510, which is a decade earlier than the widely accepted beginnings of Mannerism. The angel holds the inkwell and hands John a paper. How typically Dutch in feature, and how completely un-Netherlandish is the strangely elongated figure, short-waisted, but much stretched from the waist to the foot. The creature that comes out of the sea in the lower left corner is a far cry from that described in the scripture. Although the artist who painted this portrait of St. Paul has not been identified, he was certainly no minor artist, but fully aware of the developments of the Mannerist style. The apostle is identified by his sword, the instrument of his beheading. The picture conveys a feeling of the strength of the great evangelist and missionary. Framed by the swirling, brilliant-colored cloak which billows behind him, and which, together with the position of Paul's arm across his body, forms a graceful circle of movement. Note, too, the contrapposto turn of the body. The term contrapposto, when used in connection with painting and sculpture, means the depiction of different portions of a figure around the central axis of the body, but each shown on a different plane. Let me explain this by an example. Suppose you are standing on a moving bus, holding on to the upright column. Without moving your feet, you turn to get a good look at something which the bus has just passed, thus bringing around your upper torso and turning your head to look over your shoulder. Your body is still fully upright, and the central axis from your head to the floor is unchanged, but you are partially rotated upon that axis. This contrapposto often characterizes Mannerist sculpture, where it's more apparent than in painting, but it's no less used in this medium. You will notice this in the large figure on the right side of the Sodoma painting of Christ falling under the weight of the cross on his way to Calvary, which is, by the way, one of the most important paintings in the entire collection. Note the way the head looks over the shoulder. The right arm stretches across the entire body, while the left arm comes almost all the way across the abdomen. Note the counterposition of the two legs and the strong turn of the head. In fact, as you study this picture, you're aware of the counterpull of forces against each other. The man on the left raising the lower end of the cross, the man in the center with his arm raised for a strong downward stroke, which completes the reverse line of the lifted arm on the right. Sodoma, whose real name is Giovanni Antonio Bazzi, was strongly influenced by Signorelli, Perugino, Leonardo, Raphael, and others. In 1500, he went to Siena, where he painted the remainder of his life. The panel is dated on the back 1525. So, you've seen some examples of the art of the 16th century, the Mannerist period. To review, let me give you two dictionary definitions of Mannerism, remembering that dictionary definitions are not infallible, nor often full and complete. The first definition: exaggerated or affected adherence to a particular style or manner. Second, with Mannerism capitalized, an art style in late 16th century Europe characterized by spatial incongruity and excessive elongation of the human figures. Upjones University Gallery is particularly rich in Mannerist paintings. Practically all of the important schools of Europe are represented. We've not examined all of them, but enough, I think, to give us a good idea of this important style of art.